Before we can start talking about what you can do for rotator cuff injuries, it's extremely important that we first talk about what not to do. This is where so many people struggle to get traction when it comes to healing their shoulder. If you consistently make these mistakes, the body simply cannot calm down, no matter how many exercises you're doing. So let's walk through some key points. Number one is to avoid aggravating activities. This may sound like common sense, but you would be shocked at how often this gets ignored. People push through pain, they learn to live with pain, they convince themselves that it's not that bad. But here's the reality. The body cannot heal if you're actively doing something that keeps irritating the injury. I tell patients all the time in clinic, fixing pain often requires taking one step back so you can take 2, 3, or even 4 steps forward later. This often means temporarily pausing things like lifting, throwing, overhead or repetitive shoulder movements, or any activity that you know makes your shoulder worse. This is not permanent, but it is necessary. Number 2 is to avoid certain sleeping positions. Many people with rotator cuff injuries often have night pain. One of the most common reasons is sleeping position, especially sleeping on the affected shoulder. When you sleep on that side, you're compressing already irritated rotator cuff tendons for hours at a time. For most people, the best position is sleeping on your back. This takes pressure off of the shoulder and allows the tissues to calm down overnight. Placing a pillow underneath the affected arm can help the shoulder relax even more. If you can't sleep on your back, then sleep on your unaffected side with a pillow supporting the injured arm. Those are the 2 positions we aim for. I would also avoid sleeping on your stomach, as this places unnecessary stress on both the shoulder and the neck. Number 3 is to avoid heat. Rotator cuff injuries almost always involve inflammation of the tendon. Heat may feel good in the moment, but it often increases inflammation, which can make symptoms worse later and delay healing. This is a very common cycle we see in clinic. Heat feels good now, pain flares hours later, the flare gets blamed on sleeping wrong or overdoing it. In most cases, ice is your friend in a case like this, or simply doing nothing at all and allowing the shoulder to calm down naturally. Number 4 is avoid pressing exercises for now. This ties directly into our first point. Your rotator cuff cannot heal if you keep poking the bear. Pressing exercises like bench press and shoulder press place significant demand on the rotator cuff because its main job is to stabilize the shoulder. If the rotator cuff is irritated, these movements almost always make things worse. That means temporarily pausing heavy bench press, heavy shoulder press, and frequent pressing under load. The goal is absolutely to return to these exercises, but not yet. Pausing them early on is critical. An important side note for people out there who are average gym goers or lifters, many rotator cuff injuries happen because people press incorrectly, often without realizing it. When using a barbell, the smooth section in the middle is called the knurling. It's there to help guide hand placement as a marker. For pressing movements, your hands should typically be about 1 thumb's width from the knurling. When your hands are closer in, your elbows stay closer to your body and less stress is placed on the shoulder joint. When your grip is too wide, your elbows flare out and shoulder stress increases significantly. Wide grip bench pressing may allow you to lift more weight, but it dramatically increases your injury risk. That's how many people end up in physical therapy clinics with rotator cuff problems from lifting. Another common gym mistake we see in clinic is when people do I's, T's, or Y's in the gym and they lift the dumbbell with their palms facing towards the floor. When your palm is towards the floor, you're actually lifting into impingement of the rotator cuff and likely contributing to tendinitis. If you like to do this exercise, it's crucial you have your thumbs up towards the ceiling. That rotates our arm bone out of the way of the rotator cuff and prevents it from getting pinched. Number 5 is smoking. This one surprises a lot of people. Smoking is actually one of the most significant risk factors for rotator cuff injuries. Over the years, I often hear in clinic, "Andrew, I didn't really do anything. I don't understand how this happened." And then we uncover a history of regular smoking. Nicotine reduces blood flow to the rotator cuff tendons, making them more vulnerable to injury, slower to heal, and more likely to re-tear. Research consistently shows that smokers are significantly more likely to develop a rotator cuff injury and nearly twice as likely to experience a re-tear. If smoking is a part of your life, lifestyle changes are just as important as physical therapy. You can do all the rehab in the world, but smoking on the back end will actively work against your progress. Now that we've covered what not to do, let's start talking about exercises that you can do at home to help reduce rotator cuff pain and improve function.